When you think of pyramids, what comes to mind? Towering structures in the Egyptian desert, right? But what if I told you that the country with the most pyramids in the world is Egypt? It's Sudan. That's right. Sudan is home to over 220 pyramids, a secret history that's rarely taught in schools but holds some of ancient Africa's most fascinating mysteries. Today, we're journeying south of Egypt, to the ancient lands of Nubia, to uncover the story of the forgotten pyramids of Meroë and the powerful kingdom that built them. For thousands of years, while Egypt's fame grew, another advanced African civilization was thriving right next door, the kingdom of Kush, located in modern-day Sudan. The Kushites were not just neighbors to the Egyptians. They were rivals, trading partners, and at one point, even their rulers. This powerful black African kingdom built its own pyramids in sacred sites like Nubian, El-Karu, and most famously Meroë. These weren't just monuments. They were the final resting places for a long line of kings and powerful queens, known as Candiques, who governed one of the most prosperous empires of the ancient world. So, let us get the big fact out of the way. Sudan has more pyramids than all of Egypt combined. You heard that correctly. While Egypt has around 138 known pyramids, Sudan boasts over 220. Yet how many of us learned about this in history class? These Nubian pyramids are distinct. They are much steeper and narrower, with a sharper angle, giving them a unique, needle-like appearance. They served as royal tombs just like their Egyptian counterparts, but they belonged to a civilization with its own unique culture, its own gods, and even its own writing system, the Meroitic script, which to this day has not been fully decoded. This script holds the secrets of their history, and unlocking it remains one of archaeology's greatest challenges. A common misconception is that the Nubians were just copying the Egyptians, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The Nubians were innovators, not imitators. They actually continued building pyramids long after the Egyptians had stopped. Their burial rituals were different, their architecture had its own style, and their religious beliefs, while sharing some common gods with Egypt, were uniquely their own. Perhaps most strikingly, Nubian pyramids often housed the tombs of powerful queens who ruled as independent monarchs. In ancient Egypt, a woman ruling with the full authority of a pharaoh was incredibly rare, but in the kingdom of Kush, it was a celebrated tradition. This brings us to one of the most incredible, yet overlooked aspects of Nubian history, the warrior queens. The Kushite Empire had a line of formidable female rulers known as the Candiques, a title that translates to queen mother or ruler. These were not just queens in name. They were fierce leaders who commanded armies, negotiated treaties, and ruled with absolute authority. Take Queen Amaniris, for example. In the 1st century BC, she led her armies against the invading Roman Empire, the superpower of the ancient world. After years of fighting, she negotiated a peace treaty with Emperor Augustus himself, one that was so favorable to the Kushites that they were exempt from paying taxes to Rome. Another great Candique, Queen Amenishiketo, was a prolific builder, responsible for some of the most impressive temples and pyramids in Meroë. Her tomb was discovered filled with an incredible trove of gold jewelry, proving the immense wealth of her kingdom. The stories of these powerful African queens leading armies and building empires are a vital part of world history, yet they remain almost entirely absent from our school textbooks. Unfortunately, the story of the Nubian pyramids also has a tragic chapter of destruction. In the 1830s, an Italian treasure hunter named Giuseppe Ferlini arrived in Meroë. Convinced that the pyramids held vast riches, he took the most destructive approach imaginable. He used explosives. Ferlini blasted the tops off several pyramids, including the tomb of Queen Am. While he did find a spectacular collection of gold jewelry, which he later sold to museums in Germany, he destroyed priceless ancient architecture in the process. The damage he caused is irreversible, and you can still see the flattened tops of the pyramids he vandalized today. It's a heartbreaking reminder of how much history has been lost to greed. And then there's the mystery of the Meroitic script. Imagine a civilization that built hundreds of pyramids, ruled a vast and wealthy empire, and defeated the Romans. Yet we can't fully read their words. The Kushites developed their own unique alphabet, with 23 letters, derived from Egyptian hieroglyphs but used to write their own language. While we can sound out the letters, we don't know the meaning of most of the words. It's like being able to read a sentence aloud in a language you don't understand. The inscriptions on their temple walls, the funerary texts in their tombs, and the records of their daily lives are all locked away. This untranslated script is one of the biggest unsolved puzzles in ancient history. The names, stories, and detailed events of the pyramid builders of Kush remain silent, waiting for a modern-day Rosetta Stone to bring their voices back to life. Now, let's talk about timing. While Egypt's most famous pyramids, the Great Pyramids of Giza, are older, the pyramid-building tradition in Nubia had its own long and distinguished history. Some of the earliest Kushite pyramids date back to around 800 BC. This was a period when pyramid building in Egypt had largely ceased. The Nubians revived the tradition, infusing it with their own style and engineering prowess. Their ability to construct these precise, steep structures demonstrates an advanced understanding of mathematics, astronomy, and architecture, proving that sophisticated knowledge was flourishing in this part of Africa. Perhaps the most stunning chapter in the Kushite story is the time they conquered and ruled Egypt. Yes, you heard that right. Around 744 BC, the Nubian kingdom grew so powerful that its king Pi marched north and conquered Egypt, establishing the 25th dynasty. These Nubian rulers became known as the Black Pharaohs, but they didn't rule as foreign conquerors. Instead, they saw themselves as the true heirs of Egypt's ancient traditions. They revived Egyptian culture, repaired old temples, and even started building pyramids again in the Egyptian style. This era, when Black African kings ruled over the land of the pharaohs, is a critically important but often minimized period in history. It challenges the conventional narrative and shows the deep, interconnected relationship between these two great African civilizations. So why is this incredible history so unknown? Why don't schools teach us about the pyramid fields of Sudan, the powerful Kandakes, or the Black Pharaohs of the 25th dynasty? The simple answer is that for centuries, mainstream history has been overwhelmingly Eurocentric. School curricula have traditionally focused on ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome as the cradles of civilization, while largely ignoring the advanced societies that existed in other parts of the world, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. This has led to the false and damaging impression that Africa had little to contribute to ancient history, when the reality is that it was a continent of powerful empires, incredible innovation, and rich cultural heritage. The story of the Kingdom of Kush is a powerful corrective to that myth. It reveals a sophisticated Black African civilization that was a major player on the world stage, a civilization whose legacy is written in stone, waiting for the world to finally pay attention. The forgotten pyramids of Sudan are more than just ancient structures. They are a testament to a powerful African kingdom that has been unjustly left in the shadows of history. They represent a story of innovation, strength, and resilience that deserves to be told. The next time you see a picture of a pyramid, remember that the story doesn't end in Egypt. It continues south, along the Nile, to the land of Kush. Thanks for joining us on this journey to uncover a lost chapter of ancient history. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the world's hidden histories. See you next time.